In part 1 of our feature Bible drama, we saw how Jehovah gave peace to his servants in the past. As we near the conclusion of this system of things, how can we strengthen our confidence that Jehovah will fulfill his promises for the future? We now invite you to watch part 2 of the feature Bible drama, Jehovah Guides Us in the Way of Peace.
Bible prophecy is a fascinating subject. Prophecy is far more than just predictions about the future. Jehovah knows all the facts. He can even control and change factors to ensure the outcome he desires. At Isaiah 55:11, he says, "My word that goes out of my mouth will not return to me without results, and it will have sure success."
Jehovah's prophecies have a perfect record of success. He has led his people in the past. So when he prophesies that he'll lead his people to real, lasting peace in the future, this isn't a prediction. It's a guarantee.
The prophecies given to Daniel clearly show that God's kingdom will without a doubt bring lasting peace for all mankind.
We've been watching approximately the first minute of part 2 of the documentary Jehovah Guides Us in the Way of Peace. They're calling it a documentary, even though, as I've already commented in these rebuttals, it's not really a documentary. It's just a medley of previous years' Bible dramas, all sort of cobbled together with governing body helpers pretending to be interviewed. They're clearly not speaking extemporaneously. There's clearly no one interviewing them. They're literally, as I've said before, just doing this and speaking to a wall or something off camera. Actually, they're speaking to an auto cue, if we're being fair. So they're speaking to an auto cue as though they're speaking to a person, but you can tell by the way they are talking that what they're saying isn't natural, it's not spontaneous, it's all been scripted for them. That being the case, why do they insult our intelligence? Why don't they just speak straight to the camera? It's, if you think about it, just trickery. It's trying to fool the audience into thinking that these men are more knowledgeable than they really are, that their knowledge is indeed sought after, as it would be for talking heads and subject matter experts in real documentaries. There's just one problem. Because they are not experts, because they are not Bible scholars, what they say is largely nonsense. And even in just the opening minute of part 2, they've been spewing stuff that is spurious at best, outright misleading at worst. We heard there Leonard Myers say,
Jehovah knows all the facts. He can even control and change factors to ensure the outcome he desires.
This is one of those points where I wish Jehovah's Witnesses would just stop and think about what's being said. Jehovah apparently can control and change factors to ensure the outcome he desires, meaning that everything that we see today, including all of the injustice, all of the pain and suffering and death, including the deaths of over 20,000 Jehovah's Witnesses due to the coronavirus, including the brutality we're seeing in wars such as the war in Ukraine, all of this is part of the outcome that Jehovah desires. What sort of God is Jehovah if this is the outcome that he desires? He is the puppet master. He's controlling everything. Everything's going according to his plan. what Jehovah's Witnesses would typically say is, oh yes, but once we're in the paradise, everything's just going to be swell and it's all going to make sense. And all of the suffering we're experiencing now won't matter anymore. Well, try telling that to someone whose entire family has been gunned down in Ukraine. Or try telling that to someone who's watched their loved one choked to death due to the coronavirus pandemic. Once it's happened, it's happened. You either remember it or you don't. If the former things won't be called to mind, what you're doing is you're altering the person's brain chemistry. You're removing those memories that make them who they are, and you're spitting out a different person. So I don't buy into this idea that you can just say, well, everything's going to be made right somehow. Once it's happened, it's happened. And what Leonard Myers is telling us here is that everything we're seeing in the world today, including all of the suffering, is all part of an outcome that Jehovah has decided upon. But going back to what I was saying about these men clearly not knowing about Bible scholarship and clearly approaching the Bible from an overly simplistic Bible literalist point of view, let's just revisit what Robert Lucioni said.
Jehovah's prophecies have a perfect record of success.
Jehovah's prophecies have a perfect record of success. Not just a good record, not just like an 80-90% record, but a perfect record of success. Any prophecy that you can point to in the Bible has come true. Robert Lucioni is talking utter gibberish at this point, and I'm glad that, again, we're in this cycle where I don't even have to spend time debunking this because I've already done it. We already heard David Splain say something similar in a past JW Broadcasting episode. In fact, I'm not going to waste your time. The sushi is Sushi 67. If Tibor is gracious, a thumbnail will emerge. David Splain claims Bible prophecy is right 100% of the time. Now, if you would be so kind as to watch this sushi, if you don't know what I'm talking about, and if you do buy into this idea that Bible prophecy is always right, I'd really appreciate you just taking the time. It's actually only a 4-minute, 46-second video, so less than 5 minutes. Take less than 5 minutes of your time and watch this video in which I give you multiple examples of Bible prophecies that did not come true. Just one example is that of Ezekiel, where Ezekiel prophesies about Tyre's destruction, and immediately he has to backtrack. I think he predicts that Nebuchadnezzar will destroy Tyre, and Nebuchadnezzar doesn't manage to do that. So immediately in the verse itself, in Ezekiel, you have Jehovah backpedaling and reworking his prophecy so that he kind of gives himself a second stab at it. It's really quite embarrassing when you read it. But that's just one example of many where prophecy doesn't come true. And what Robert Lucioni says here about there being a perfect record of success is revealed to be an utter lie.